testing 1 2 3. Oh, perfect. Okay. Hey everybody, sorry for the late start by 1 minute. My audio was messing up, so I just really want to make sure it was all good to go. So hey Villa, Nick, hope you guys are all doing well. Tim, a lot of stuff going on here today. Oh man, sorry I'm out of breath. I was walking a little bit earlier. As far as the overall market, I'm not too concerned. We've been talking about this for a while. Bitcoin's hovering a little bit over 96,000 bucks. And although it could be better, don't get me wrong, you know, I think the next couple of weeks are really going to be more important than what we see now. I'm really looking forward till tomorrow to see what happens with CPI data. We're going to be talking about that a little bit here. But overall, is Bitcoin going to be able to hold some of those key levels of support? I think we should be able to, even if we were to have a flush. I don't think this is the end of the market, but I still am taking the safe approach here and not doing so much swing trading, and I'm just doing some of your day trading here, like, you know, 20 to 30 hour holds like we've been doing. And then I'm also focusing a little bit more on dollar cost averaging right now. A lot of altcoins have come down quite a bit, so I feel like I can actually do that a little bit more. But you know, I'm still being picky. It's not like you can go out there and choose any altcoin you want to, and it's had a pretty nice dip. But I think we got a little bit more of a way to go. So before it gets on, I'm gonna give a treat to Loki here. He's been a big baby right now. You can see him. You see? Yep. He'll run away. He's been much more whiny lately, so I'm only gonna give him a few treats today, and then I'll see how that goes. Or maybe give him mini treats, but I don't like when he whines and he expects something from it, because usually with anything else besides streaming, if he whines, he doesn't get it. So he has like a split personality with that, or I have split rules with that type of stuff, right? So hey, Slightly Unstable, happy to see my man. DCA, right? I mean, DCA has been working out really well for us guys, really, really well. And hey, Larry, 80K dropped and bounced to the new people haven't experienced the fear yet. Hey, Larry, if this was a typical bull market, I'd actually like 100% agree with you. I just don't know anymore because of what we've been seeing with these institutions trying to load up on Bitcoin. I have a few videos coming out later on today, or not today, I'm going to record them today, they're going to be posted tomorrow, talking about the ETFs and how much money in Bitcoin they've accumulated so far, because those ETFs are just printing money at this point, and of course they're loading up on historic numbers of Bitcoin. We still kind of have to get to that supply crunch phase where, like, oh my god, there's not enough Bitcoin. But I mean, we're on our way there. It shouldn't be too much longer, you know, like a few quarters or something like that. But meantime, you're seeing a lot of people get spooked out, and again, the people who are spooked out are the people that bought just last week instead of dollar cost averaging. The dollar cost averaging is the most important thing here. If you've been dollar cost averaging, you're fairly happy, because what were we talking about over the last month? Some day trading, sure, some smaller swing trades, sure, but it was mostly just scaling out of everything we had accumulated before the election. So that's kind of where my mindset is, and why when you guys ask me questions about, oh, should I buy now? I'm like, you know, it's not really the best time to be buying at all-time highs. Typically, you want to buy when everything's boring. And again, I think this is the mismatch of how YouTube works. My channel was very boring for a few months. Not as many people were watching, of course, because it just wasn't as much day-to-day news to talk about, right? So we're mostly chilling, finding new tokens to accumulate, see what's going on, and then, you know, post-election, which got lucky because, you know, I don't think many people thought Trump was going to win, or mainstream media put out that layer that says he wasn't going to win. So when he did win, it was such a huge surprise, and then boom, you know, the market goes parabolic. However, that was just a boring time. Not many people like to buy crypto during those boring times, and I completely understand. And now what you're seeing is just much more of a panic overall. And hey, Mo New York, thanks for watching me, man. I've been seeing your posts on the regular videos. I appreciate it. What might happen after CPI tomorrow? We're going to be going that. Yeah, I'm talking so fast, guys. Sorry. It's been a freaking busy day. I just got done from playing with Loki a little bit too, so I'm in a pizzazzy mode. You know how my ADHD can be. But CPI is going to be very, very important. And we've already talked about this a little bit, but I'll elaborate a little bit more in the next few minutes. And hey, the Dolphin, happy to see you. Villaret, it's wet and cooled up in here in Washington. We're laid up. Oh yeah, I'm definitely laid up. I'm getting a new heater over the next couple of days, but like downstairs isn't necessarily cold because I'm down here. But earlier in the morning when I started making content, I was just freezing, and I was like, you know what? Yeah, I need to put on a hoodie. I need to get warm. I need to be good. And it's honestly because, you know, I forgot to use it tonight. Shit. I have it upstairs. I got a brand new Stanley Cup All right, and it's some type of like glittery Stanley cup that looks really nice. Some of you guys may be like, that's a very girly cup, but it's like a purple with a bunch of glitter in it, and it reminds me of a car I used to fix it with my grandfather before he passed. I don't know, I love those colors of cars. But yeah, so I got a little Stanley cup and it's like 40 ounces. I'm going to be using that to chug water with you guys from now on. But until then, you know, funny enough, I've been buying so much stuff from Amazon. I didn't know I had it. It's been in my house for the past week and I just did not know about it. But anyway, this will be the last time I use my nice little jug like this. This has been absolutely fantastic because most of my cups don't hold enough water for me. Even when I do my my other cups, they're usually like 16-ounce cups, and whatever this is, it's quite a bit. And the ice gets stuck together, so when I tilt it, see, the water goes into my mouth and not the ice going into my mouth. The things you know, the things you know. There we go. Loki knows when you go live. Hilarious. He does know. I mean, you guys can't see him, but he's literally just staring at me. Normally, Loki is sitting behind me on the sofa right here, just sleeping because I have a bunch of blankets there. And I'm about to get the sofa cleaned up. It's like, you know how leather can get kind of dirty, but it's not like dirty. I need to get it wiped down and all that type of stuff, which will be happening pretty soon because I've been using my TV more often, and you can see here. But usually Loki's over there. So if I put a little treat over here, and I just see how he's just like checking it out, and you'll see him in a second. Oh, you can kind of see him. There he goes. He decided to climb the long way. Yeah, but he's usually chilling right there, having a good time. And getting all of his treats. See? And this is when he looks at me. Yep, snacking on duck treats. He loves duck. But once he realizes that he's not going to get any more, he's just going to go down. I wonder if he's sniffing. I wonder if he actually found the other tree. I think he did. But yeah, if he didn't, he'll just... well, I don't know. What's he doing? Now he's curious. He's like, what are you guys going to do? Is that Loki? Oh, I got him excited to play, not really to chill. Come on, say hi. Yeah, so... this is play Loki. He's playful, but he also wants to move to the other side because the treats are on the other side. Yeah. Hello. See? Ooh. This is a slower start than normal, guys, I know, because, what do you call? I need to calm myself down a little bit. Alright, there we go. And hey, Trev, happy to see you, my guy. It's over. All the cold front has hit your coast. Yeah, it's been freaking brutal over here. I have not liked it. And plus, a couple weeks ago, my heater went out on my car, so I had to get it fixed up. It was freaking expensive as hell. Yeah, need the cold water. I'll join you on the dieting starting tomorrow. Dude, it works out pretty well. You just have to be eating because cold water in an empty stomach makes you want to vomit. Have you read any Delbert Conley books for TA, or do you know if they're any good? I have not. All of the TA books that I have read have usually just been the Dummy's Guide to this, Dummy's Guide to that, like Dummy's Guide to Technical Analysis, or Technical Analysis for Dummies, sorry. The one book I was reading about trading and technical analysis, let me go over here to my, what do you call very fast? This was recommended by a friend of mine who loves VWAPs. Now, I don't play with VWAPs whatsoever, personally. But he told me to read this book about the anchored VWAP, and apparently it like changed everything about trading for him. So I'm gonna start reading it. I'm like 8% through it, which is not a lot, because that includes all the other stuff. Search book. I don't know. How do I... It's called Maximum Trading Gains with Anchored VWAP, and it's by Brian Shannon. It's not the Delbert Conley guy. This one's by Brian Shannon. Yeah, but it's all about the anchored VWAP. And yeah, did I buy a book about one specific tool? Yeah, I did. But yeah, that one I'm reading right now happens to be with the anchored VWAP. All right, let me hop on over here to the charts very fast. Get started with this, and can I see if that's working out? There we go. All right. So you can see people are panicking a little bit, right? And really it's because Bitcoin's been stagnating over the past few weeks. We had this initial really good rally. It took us up from around like 68,000, 69,000 bucks up towards 104,000, hitting that big price target that we've had for a very long time here. Hit, rejected, hit, rejected, hit, rejected, hit, rejected, right? This other one was a minor one. That was from the lows we saw over here to the highs, and that was just at 90,900, which happens to be our next current level of support. So what I'm probably going to actually do is probably take off this, remove that locked drawing. Let me just add this on here. We can always add it back on later. 90,900. And maybe I guess a red line is always useful, or a yellow line. I think a yellow line always looks a little bit better. There you go. That's kind of our support level right now for Bitcoin on the weekly chart. That's what I'm looking at. Of course, we could have something more of a pullback here, but that's not really the focus right now, because what really gets me a little bit more spooked is of what happens if Bitcoin breaks down below a 20-week moving average, and that 20-week moving average is very, very far away from us. If we were to break down below it, it'd probably be at the end of this month or beginning of next month, if you guys want to get into more of a bearish mindset, right? So, long story short, not much has changed since yesterday, but we do have the daily chart, the weekly chart, still bullish on momentum. We're starting to see a few warning signs here between stochastic and RSI. MACD, it's coming down a little bit here, but it's not enough to really concern me just yet. And that's because we've been here before where the MACD is coming back down, right? Coming down, coming down, coming down. Stochastic was bearish, RSI was bearish, but we still found a way to pump up afterwards, right? This was back during the ETF trade, if you remember that. And again, now that we're coming out of that bearish, going into the bullish here, I'm willing to give it the benefit of the doubt because so far things have been working in our favor. That being said, my hedge against this, let's say Bitcoin drops to 85,000 bucks this week, and it's a disaster, right? I've already been scaling out of a lot of my positions here. Maybe not 50%, maybe not 100%, but I have been scaling out of some of them, which has already been allowed me to lock in profit. And I've already gotten stopped out of a few of them yesterday, actually, off of that, 2 days ago, off of that big move down we had. So, from the daily charts here, we're still seeing weakness. For me, we talked about what happens if we break down below the 20-day moving average. I would suspect we're probably still looking at some bearish moves ahead. I'm not really bullish on Bitcoin in the short term. That daily chart is still bearish. You can see the stochastic, RSI, and MACD all looking pretty nasty. So as far as going long on Bitcoin, it's not really my thing. I'm going to just kind of toe the line from what I said a couple days ago and yesterday. I think that 90,900 level is going to be a key level for us, and I want to see if we can come back down there. If we do come back in there, I'm not going to go long on a swing trade or long on a day trade. I think what I'm just going to do is probably use it as a larger dollar cost average move, and then try to accumulate some of those tokens I feel like I haven't been able to buy as much of over the past few weeks. If you guys look at this chart right now and you zoom in a little bit, let's just take off the MACDs and whatnot. You can see there's a little bit of support right now, kind of around 94,000. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here to the 4-hour chart. I'm going to show this to you very fast. And you can see it's kind of matching up with an order block from way back over here. You know, we had such a big dump right after we hit that price target of ours that it kind of just blew right towards it and then went back down to 90,900 before eventually having that massive skyrocket. For me, I'm going to believe that this still has some semblance of support. I think this one was just a little bit of abnormality because you guys saw how fast everything kind of collapsed on that one. But even going over here to the 1-hour chart, you guys can still see those lower highs and that pretty much flat bottom. A slightly even higher low, if you will, but we're going to have a squeeze sometime in the next 24 hours, and it's going to be a pretty big one. One of the good things, I guess, for us tomorrow is that if CPI is good, that'll be a catalyst for Bitcoin to have a big breakout because you know there's been shorts pushing Bitcoin down. You can see, you can clearly see there's been attempts over the last few days, excuse me. Let me get the pointer on here. I don't want it to cross. There we go. To push Bitcoin up and it's gotten smashed. Push it up, smashed. Push it up a little bit, smashed. Push it up a little bit, smashed. And we're just getting smashed, guys. We're getting smashed over and over. Let's see. But yeah, so that's kind of what's going on right now. I wish it was a little bit better, but just keep an eye on this. I know we've talked about this, but I kind of want to make this into a routine thing where we at least talk about it maybe once every other day, and that is going to be the markets, right? Again, today, yesterday, the day before, we've seen a lot of volatility when New York opens up, right? New York is just very, very volatile. Tokyo's been kind of subdued lately, but again, New York opened back up, and you just see the big moves that are coming in. Right now, back into Tokyo, so maybe things will calm down a little bit. You could even see that, like Tokyo, when it opened up, right? We went up like $800, $900 before going down $1,700. But by the end of Tokyo, we were basically up 0.22%, which basically means we did nothing. There was a lot of volatility, but if you looked at the candles, we pretty much were just going flat on the higher time frames. So we might be in for something like that right now. Tomorrow, of course, we have the CPI data coming out. Let me see if I can show you guys. Oh, did I not do that? All right. CPI trading. Yeah. Oh, that's okay. I was there. Well, that's not the right one. No. Is it? Why do I think it's not it? There it is. Okay, sorry. Yeah, so you guys can see over the last year or so, things have been actually doing okay. We've been coming down. There's been a little bit more of an uptick here. We went from 2.9 to 2.5 to 2.4, back up to 2.6. We've pretty much been flat. Again, the Fed's goal is to get us down to 2% inflation. I don't necessarily... I understand what he's trying to do by slow down the economy, but I don't think the Fed and monetary policy is slowing down the parts of the economy he thinks it can slow. I think the economy has evolved a lot over the past few years, especially since COVID, and I don't think he understands that, hey, by keeping rates artificially high like this, it hurts certain parts of the economy more than others. And parts where there are lots of inflation, this could be gig share riders, the gig share economy. I don't know if you guys have been using Uber or Lyft lately. The prices are a lot higher than they used to be. That could be because I'm in Seattle and we have different price structures in a lot of other places. But again, certain parts of the economy, the Fed isn't going to fix that, right? And so, yeah, I'm curious to see what exactly they're trying to target here besides just the services. They usually use the broad term services industry, stuff like that. What specifically in the services industry are they trying to target? Because at this point, I don't think they can stop it because everybody wants higher wages. And if they go on strike, you're going to lose a lot of money. So you might as well pay them the higher wages than pass those costs over to the consumer. That seems to be the way it's been happening before. It just seems like it's been happening so much more lately. If Starbucks is trying to have a union, Boeing over here in Seattle had a major, what do you want to call it? Not a lawsuit, a strike. Stuff like that. But overall, inflation's been fairly good. The issue is tomorrow we're supposed to have a inflation rate of 2.7%, right? Which is a tick higher than 2.6 last month. So that means inflation would have gone up a little bit more. There's a lot of things about this that are conflicting, but let me just kind of say it in a couple of different ways because there's a way it's going to be received depending on which media site you watch. At this point in time, if we have 2.7, that's not technically a bad thing. However, we would prefer a 2.6 or a 2.5. Why? Because we want to see Jerome Powell continue to cut rates. Jerome Powell, it seems, or people on the Fed board, they are looking, some of them, not all of them, some of them are looking for a reason to pause rate cuts, which again would be a huge disaster for the markets. Now, if you own Bitcoin, it'd be bad. If you own the stock market, it'd be bad, right? Because the market would have to adjust to that new reality. We'd plateau for a little bit longer, then we would start to sink down for a period of a couple months, and maybe the bull market's not over, but it would just be like, oh man, now we got to wait even longer for the altcoin season. Now we have to wait even longer for Bitcoin to hit like 150,000, 125,000, whatever that level is in your mind. And so that's one thing. If this is 2.8% or all hot, you're going to see a big freak out from the media, especially as we're starting to talk about tariffs and Trump. It'll kind of be focused on Trump in a way, but that's still people talking about inflation, talking about rate cuts, rate hikes, and stuff like that. We were looking about this a few days ago, actually, about can Trump fire Jerome Powell if he wants him to cut rates and he's not cutting rates. From what we read, it seems that he can fire him, but I keep on hearing like from the news that he can't. So I'm very curious to see how Jerome Powell can be let go, especially if he's messing with the markets. Yeah, I'm very curious, because maybe we don't need to have a 50 basis point rate cut out all the time, but if we can get our rates down to like 4% interest, 4% Fed funds rate, I'd be pretty happy with that in the short term. Again, it would take a few months, few quarters to get there, but at least we're on that path. The moment we stop that path, right, that's where the economy really starts to freak out, which is why we talked about Bitcoin here and the rest of the stock market. I might as well show you the rest of the stock market without the market sessions. All right. This is when we were raising interest rates. And back over here. When did we start to cut interest rates? This past November or something like that? Yeah, October. Over here is when we started to cut them again, and you saw the big spike that happened afterwards. Back over here in 18, we were raising interest rates. This is when we paused interest rates. This is when we started to cut interest rates, and you saw the spike that happened afterwards. We're in that interest rate spike right now. I swear I made a video about this. I'm not gonna, no. It should be the main video on my channel. Oh, really? Oh, must be on mobile. Must be on mobile then. Wait for it. Yeah. Oh, that's a different thing. Has the same type of thumbnail. There you go. The Fed just changed everything. Why you should be prepared. It was 2 months ago. I talked about why this would make the market go up. Funny enough, I used 3 thumbnails for this video, and the one that you guys chose was the one that says the markets will not boom, but crash. So I left the crash one up there. But yeah, so it does matter a lot for us, and I guess one of the reasons we're kind of stalling out here is because over the past few weeks, just kind of starting to murmur, I mean, Bitcoin's hit a technical resistance. Let's not be, let's be frank about that. However, on top of that, we've just started to hear more of those murmurs saying, uh-oh, are we going to stop cutting rates? What does that mean? Because that means Bitcoin will stall out and most likely come down. It may not be a catastrophic move down, but you guys know when Bitcoin moves down, it can have a big spike down for a second, then bounce back up. Unfortunately, we've had that too many times. Let's see. And let me go over here very fast. Just to give you guys a little bit of an update here, we are close to breaking down below the 200 moving average on the 4-hour chart. Not usually a disaster sign, but something that causes just a little bit more volatility. Excuse me. Ethereum here, same type of thing. We're seeing a lot of charts showing the minimum bearishness where they might come down pretty hard. I could see Ethereum coming down between 3278 and up here to 3450. So there's a big order block right here that Ethereum can come down to. Solana, a bunch of other stuff. There's a support level there. I'm just watching everything closely. And really, tomorrow morning when CPI comes out, that's really going to be the big move. If it's bad, it'll, like, if we have a bad CPI report tomorrow, I could see Bitcoin going down by like $4,000 or $5,000 tomorrow. If it's good, I could see Bitcoin going up by $1,500 tomorrow. So it's not really like a win-win type of thing. It's like, damn, it could be really bad, or it could just be meh, okay, right? So that's kind of like what my mind is processing right now. I feel like Larry Summers is someone famous. I assure you I'm nobody. He's Larry Summers. In the past 3 years, my top bets, Tricon sold to Blackstone, Advanced Gas Liquidation right now, give me all my assets to shareholders, and now Renew Energy to be bought by Canada and Abu Dhabi. Ah. Yeah, Larry, my big oil play was Pioneer Natural Resources. But to be honest, the dividends were so good. I was kind of mad that they got bought up by ExxonMobil. I was actually pretty mad. I know we talked about that a while ago, but I haven't had an oil play do as well as PXD. I don't even think PXD even shows up anymore on the sites. Yeah, it doesn't even show up anymore on the sites. Yeah, it doesn't even show up anymore. That's a shame. It got bought up by ExxonMobil, which was my other big oil holder. But ExxonMobil, you know, I've been pretty open about this. I've been scaling out of this for a minute, and that's just because I see oil prices probably coming down. So I have like 50% of my original position at ExxonMobil, and I'm pretty much out of a lot of other oil spots. I don't know. I might go into more oil plays here shortly, but I think I just need to scale out some, just so I can actually lock in profit. It's been years that I've been holding some of some of these companies. So right now, if anyone wants free money, stock price is $6.84, sell price is $7.07, so a free 23 cents. There you go. You're waiting for Mar to pop up by Friday. Mar has been doing okay so far. It's definitely a volatility play. The golden pocket for Bitcoin. No cigar during DCA phase. No, not right now. I guess I have my cigars inside the house. I haven't been smoking as much lately. I went through a phase where I was smoking a lot because I got invited to all these parties, all the business meetings I was going to was smoking lounges. So I'm taking like a few day break off of smoking. I was supposed to take Saturday off of smoking, but then an after party I went to a business mixer, by African American business owners in the space of Washington. We had the state politicians, everybody. It was really, really, really good time. But afterwards, everybody was like, let's go to the cigar lounge and smoke. And I was like, I love myself a good smoke. And so what do you call it? Of course, I smoked. I only smoked one cigar, but still, I was trying to not do it. And I had myself a couple Tutti Frutti drinks. But yeah, so I'm trying not to smoke. I'll probably smoke with you guys on Friday before I head out to the lounge. Or I don't even know what I'm doing this Friday. Maybe I'm not even going to the lounge. See, a lot of stuff. But yeah, I'll be smoking with you guys eventually here. Can you tell me what the golden pocket is for Bitcoin? What do you mean by golden pocket? I've heard different theories of what the golden pocket is to different people. For me, it's always just been... There you go. It's just been a Fibonacci retracement, right? And you're usually looking for one of these holes is the golden pocket. I guess for me, it'd be all the way back down here. It's like 40,000 Bitcoin all the way up here to 50,000. That big block. But I mean, I wouldn't be expecting Bitcoin to go down that far at all. Perhaps what you might be doing instead is using a different Fibonacci level. And maybe that's back down here towards $65,000 to $71,000. But more realistically, it looks like Bitcoin may come back down here to 87,337 if you're looking at it like that. But I guess there's two ways to look at this. You could try to go by clusters, right? And in that case, let's just go by monthly chart. I feel like I need to get a new mouse. This mouse keeps on glitching out a little bit. I don't know why. I'm very big on clusters. I don't think you really needed to do this at all, but I don't know why. I just love clusters. Hold on a second, you guys. That works. Okay. So maybe between 83,000 and 80,000 would be a good buying zone if you guys are going off of Fibonacci levels. Another good cluster would be down here towards 66,000. After that, down here at 53,000. And of course, you have some stronger stuff around here, 42,000. But I don't think we're going anywhere close to these clusters down here. I'd say in the short term, perhaps, you know, if things really fall apart, you could really start to buy back around $81,000. That'd be a good opportunity, I would say. But as far as that golden ratio, it'd probably be the first one I was talking about. I don't use golden ratios though. I don't like to buy at support levels because sometimes, like, I don't know why, it's just like a thing that I had when I was first trading. You buy the support level, then it keeps on going down, and I'm like, you know, I'd rather just wait for momentum to say, hey, we've stopped falling. It's okay to come out of your cave and you can buy something now, right? That's kind of how I've always been investing out there. I wonder. Let's see. There you go. Okay, that should be okay. You're like 1x earnings and market cap? Oh yeah, that's really tiny. And hey Steve, happy to see you, man. Pepu launched today, excited to see what happens. Which Pepu? I haven't even heard of that one. Ate a pot gummy, that would be fun. Pot gummies can be really, really fun. I like the ones that have CBD in them so you can just like chill. Am I still buying Bitcoin up during this drawdown? Or are you waiting until stuff shakes out this week or next week? For Bitcoin specifically, no. I've been mostly buying altcoins here. For Bitcoin, I definitely need something of a larger freakout moment. But again, you know, if I was to do that, it would be for like a leveraged swing trade long. And Bitcoin's not going to really give me a lot of profit for just holding for a couple weeks, right? Go back over here to crypto.com, or excuse me, coinmarketcap.com. You know, last 30 days, Bitcoin's up 19%. Last 30 days, Ethereum is up 13%. XRP, on the other hand, 290. Solana's up 2%. BNB's up 5. Dogecoin's up 33, right? You get down to the meme coins that we've been talking about here, or the AI tokens, right? Dogecoin up 33. Shiba's actually flat. Pepe's up 84. Dog with Hat's up 2. Bonk is up 36. Floki's up 22. Brett's up 54. 58, down 22, 670%, 68%. Cat and Dogs and Wolves down 32%. Turbo's up 7%, right? You get a lot more volatility here, a lot more volatility. And I know they've gone down a lot, right? So this was probably up 22% or up something, but it fell down like literally 24% last 7 days. But again, that's why I've been making most of my money when I do spot trading, right? Even the chill guy, that one's actually falling like a rock right now too. Oh well, that's why we scale out and have stop losses. Or why I sell stuff, I guess, when it's not working out. I was so disappointed in those two tokens, Popcat and Turbo. Oh, those are my babies, and yeah, they didn't make me any money. In fact, they lost me money. One broke even, but yeah, that's not really winning in my book. So alt's gonna get wrecked. I mean, they've already been getting wrecked, right? It's just part of the cycle. If we go back over here to, I don't know. I mean, Dog with Hat's a classic, right? They've already been having these rallies. Back over here post-election, they've had a really big move, but they've definitely been dying down bit by bit. So it just depends on where you guys originally set your stop loss for your favorite altcoins. Whatever altcoins you bought, did the stop loss hit? In this circumstance for WIF, yeah, probably they hit. You go over here like Miro, which I was buying up. Yeah, it got hit, obviously. Baby Doge went on the skyrocketing spree. Maybe it didn't get hit, but this is, well, no, on November. I mean, I don't even know if you bought into this, or maybe you just bought because nothing was happening. Book of Meme, you know, there's a lot of meme coins that have already had their big puffs, and they've been dying back down here a little bit more. You got stuff like XRP, that's still doing fine. We talked about it hitting maybe a level of resistance, then coming back down. It looks like it didn't hit the level of resistance yet. I guess, well, it's making its way back up there. It's making its way slowly. But no breakout yet. Let's see. But yeah, if you look at what's happened over the last, this is NMR, last 7 days or so, this is a 4-hour chart. NMR, last few days from the high to low, that was down 31%. Ouch. So, I mean, it's definitely an okay time to do a little bit of scaling in. But, again, until we figure out what the CPI data is and what's happening with the rate cuts or rate pause, whatever you want to call it, I'm being a little bit more cautious about just going all in on specific tokens. I'm definitely just doing some dollar cost averages. And again, dollar cost averaging doesn't mean that you're really investing a whole bunch of money in there. Small amounts, small amounts. It's supposed to be an amount that you don't even care if you see it drop down 20%, right? Or in some circumstances, 30, 40%. BlackRock ETF sure did the old diamond hands play. Yeah, I mean, BlackRock knows that they want as much Bitcoin as possible. So as everybody sells, they're definitely taking advantage of it. So I sold all my Bitcoin? No. I don't, why do people keep doing this? I have different amounts of Bitcoin in different portfolios. My long-term Bitcoin, I don't touch it because of the way it is. My cycle Bitcoin is up to what? I sold 3%. No, 7% at 80,000, 3% at 91,000, and another 10% at 100,000, 101,000. So basically, I'm 20% out of my Bitcoin holdings for the cycle. For day trades and stuff like that, I still have some of those open, but I've been scaling out like 25, 35, 40, 50% of those positions. And what I've also been doing is if, let's say that the coin has moved up a lot, what I've decided to do is move up my stop loss a lot with it. And then I say, hey, if my stop loss gets hit, I want the exchange to sell 75% worth of my Bitcoin leveraged positions, right? So if I go over to like ZoomX or something, give me a second here, guys. It's on a whole different window, and I hate how Google does this, but I kind of understand why they do it, but I hate it. I don't know. I just got to log in because I haven't been in this account for a minute. Log in. There we go. Oh, maybe I can't log in. I don't know what the heck's going on with this one. Well, for whatever reason, it's saying I can't log in, which means I have to go talk to my BD manager about that. But basically, I have the same Bitcoin long on that one. All right. But that one was already up quite a bit. So I bought that one at like Bitcoin at like 68,000, 70,000. It's still pretty profitable right now, so I don't really feel the need to sell it just yet. $73 million worth of pre-sale for Pepu. It's a Pepe-based meme coin where its own ecosystem and its own layer 2 blockchain. Oh. That's a lot of money in the pre-sale then. A lot of money. You have a friend who bought each Bitcoin ETF on day one. She dollar cost averaged BTD and hold. She owns about 72% overall. Not shabby. She bought dinner tonight. There you go. Just her buying dinner is a miracle. Yeah, I mean, what do you call it? Those ETFs have been very, very good for a lot of people. I mean, the ones I have up here, because I don't have the other ones anymore. This one's a little bit different. But here's the one from Asia. Here's the Asian one, right? You can load up over here. Boom, you're looking pretty good. This one's a little bit different because of how it was structured before it became an ETF. But you can still see the same general thing. Sideways for a bit, then poof, we had a big pop. That's what you're looking for right now. That's what you're looking for a lot of stuff. But, you know, after the pop, it's okay to scale out. Hence why we scaled out at different levels. And we had this Fibonacci level here for a very, 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 very long time. Which was so surprising while that one was the one that worked. But so far, again, like we talked about, it's been really good. You know, I didn't really talk about it over here because I didn't really understand what's happening over here. I was like, maybe it will, maybe it won't. I was just saying, hey, we have a resistance level from way back over here. You know, that was old support, right? Fibonacci level there. Then when we saw it over here, I was like, oh, we can start using this from now on. It worked there. I was hoping we might make a breakout and go high, but we didn't. And now we're hitting this again. You know, typically we stayed here for a while, unfortunately. I'm hoping, though, that because we're having good news, good institutional news, more money flowing in, it shouldn't make this such a large, boring period. It maybe will be something like this when it comes to the Bitcoin ETF launch, where, sure, we had a little bit of bearish activity, but post that, we still had some really good moves coming. And I think with CPI, we can still go back to do that. But right now, the CPI definitely is a huge factor in whether or not Bitcoin goes up or down tomorrow. but you know, by the end of the day, what the candle looks like. What about SCI do you want to talk about? Guys, if a woman won't go 50-50, don't bother with her. What do you call it? I know, I'm going on a date Saturday. But I guess she'd go 50-50. But you know, I make a lot of money, so I usually just treat. We're going to the Nutcracker, which would be pretty fun. I haven't been to the Nutcracker since I was a kid, so it should be a pretty good time. And hey, Steve, thanks for the super chat, man. Show the Bitcoin 5-year chart. History repeats. Do you mean like, okay, I'm assuming you mean like a monthly chart or something, or a weekly chart showing 5 years? Like that? I'm curious to see which part of the cycle you think we're in. Are we in a parabolic part of the style, or are we just ending the cycle, right? Because I feel like everybody's talking about us being right here, and this breakout point right there. Or we're right here with this little bit of a dip that we saw back last December, right? Or this one back in December, you know. But I guess back in 2017, it was just a different time. What do I think about the Bitcoin cycle? To be honest, I'm monthly. To be honest, when it comes to the monthly cycle here, the 4-year cycle, I don't think we're going to be in a typical 4-year cycle going forward, just because of institutional money coming in. That institutional money is going to have much more pull than the retail space. Give it a few more months, right? I think the official news is now the ETFs combined hold more Bitcoin than Satoshi Nakamoto, right? And because of that, you know, I'm not really expecting a whole bunch of a lot of the norms that we've been having. I'm not expecting a lot of them to carry over. You could already see how this cycle has been pretty different than the last few cycles. I would say there are certain things that stay the same, like these massive breakouts and stuff like that. But yeah, it's just a little bit different here. And they see, but yeah, definitely interesting. Well, whenever we break above all-time highs, it's usually a good party, right? And it means we still probably have a few more months left, which probably goes into quarter 1, quarter 2. But all I care about, you know, as we kind of start this big move up, and we have 20 days left. I want to stress, we have 20 days left, pretty much 21 days left until this monthly candle closes. We could easily finish off here green. Easily. But, excuse me. Oof. The higher we go, I mean, the more I'm just going to start scaling out. Right? Long-term stuff, yeah, I'm not going to touch, but everything else, I'm like, meh. I need to get rid of it. Like, when it comes to altcoins, I probably won't be holding hardly any altcoins at all after the cycle's over. You know, after 2021, where we saw a lot of the altcoins that we bought go back down to the lows that they were back before the last bull market, it kind of made me think a little bit more about how long do I want to hold these altcoins. So, you know, I could say like maybe I hold some Dogecoin for a long time, you know, XRP, Ethereum, Solana, that type of stuff. But like, you know, the Bonk that I have, or the Miro that I have, or the Dog with Hat that I have, or the maybe AI tokens I'll do a little bit different. Maybe I'll hold those a little bit longer, but a lot of those meme coins, even the AVAXs that I got, even the Manas that I have, the Sands that I have, I'm gonna be 100% out of all of those tokens by the end of this bull run, you know. So if I feel like there's something I need to hold for a long period of time, I will put them in a separate portfolio, but there's not really much of that, if you know what I mean. If we go back in time and just see how much of that stuff fell back down, there's only a few tokens that really that had like a decent bear market, and nobody had a really good bear market, but you know, they didn't crash and burn all the way back down to new lows or crazy lows. They didn't die off and stuff like that. You think we're at the end of the first bull and entering the second bull? See, I agree with what you guys are saying. But my God, we need rate cuts to keep happening if we want to see this happen, right? And that's what's in the back of my mind. And like, Jerome Powell, do not fuck this up for us. Please don't fuck this up for us. Because, again, we're not used to having these pauses in the middle. We're not used to it. Because the last time we were supposed to have a pause, COVID happened, right? And then that kind of just, of course, made the rates go down. During that zero rate environment, I mean, Bitcoin, I mean, it was beautiful. It was glorious, right? And the government basically gave everybody money to go buy Bitcoin. That's what made it so great. What do I use for taxes, Mike? Or do you do them yourself? Oh, I just use an accountant / tax lawyer type of guy. Usually works pretty well. Before I was doing, well, okay, the laws kind of changed as I was doing YouTube and stuff like that. If it was just me and no YouTube channel, I probably would do them myself, right? Maybe with a software or something, or maybe nowadays with ChatGPT. But because I have YouTube income, when I have my sponsors and they pay me through cryptocurrency, like imagine this is a whole different dynamic. Imagine an exchange says, hey, we want to pay you to put our exchange on your channel, right? And I'm like, sure, it'll cost you $500 a month, okay? Well, what do you say from a tax perspective if they pay me $500 in Bitcoin, right? I sell the Bitcoin, but I didn't sell the Bitcoin right when they gave it to me. Maybe instead of for $500, I sold it a few days later and it was worth $600, but Bitcoin shot up a little bit, right? And then I moved it over to Coinbase and I put it into my wallet. How much am I actually paying taxes on? Is it like a $500 payment plus $100 in capital gains? There's so much more to all of this, and so I just have the tax guys go over it for me because I just don't understand it at all. Because the way I get paid is so different than everybody else. Then I also get paid tons of cash from different, like, the AI companies, Opus Clip. That's me doing random stuff for them. Going to flying to places they want me to go to, like I did back in March. So I just have too many different streams of income, dividends, all that type of stuff. So I just can't. My brain can't wrap my heads around it. My brain just can't wrap my head around it. I just can't do it. I know you always sell too soon, and I just wait till after to sell mine. Yeah, I mean that's perfectly reasonable, man. I definitely sell too early. I just want to profit. I just want to profit, and that's my options bias. I usually have a bias for holding too long because I come from options where if you hold too long, the premium usually it gets eaten away, right? But the way I see it, yeah. I mean, this is why I've been scaling out slowly. I've been scaling out more and more and more. But what happened over the last few days is I was scaling out, and I was like, damn, okay, we hit this big milestone, which is that huge Fibonacci level. Maybe I should move my stop losses up, right? So I told you guys, yeah, I'm moving up my stop losses, and I showed you guys on the sliding scale, hey, I'm going to sell 75% of my position if this asset falls down to this level, right? And when Bitcoin took that big dip, altcoins took a big dip, like a lot of tokens falling down 10, 20, 30% over the last few days. Well, all of those stop losses got hit, right? And so they're still technically in profit because I bought them a while ago, but now they're just kind of chilling, and they don't have nearly as much profit because a lot of the profit's been taken. It is what it is, right? But I would say those stop losses have probably been better than just the selling like I normally do. The raising stop losses, I guess, have been the best thing for me so far. What number do I think Bitcoin will be at end of year? End of year, but in this month. With a good CPI, I'm hoping somewhere around $115,000 to $109,000, somewhere in that range. Manzetta has been shaking in my boots. Before it seemed very bullish, but now it's barely holding a channel. Uh-oh, that can be rough sometimes. Am I exiting most of my positions by spring 2025? Also, what are your thoughts on potential pump during inauguration of Trump? I do think there should be some type of pump around that. Sure, that's going to be big news there. As far as when I get rid of them, depending on how this cycle goes, and I can always evolve and whatnot, but I'd say sometime in Q2 is probably where I see this bull market really fizzing out, where maybe I see something more of a death cross between the weekly moving average that we talk about, probably happening sometime way over there. If it happens before then, I'll be well out of my positions by then. So all right, you see these moving averages, and you see how every time we have something bad happen, like a death cross here, the price goes down, the price goes down, the price goes down, right? But you can kind of see like, hey, what's going on here? Hey, it looks like we're about to cross down below it looks like a death cross is imminent. Because it looks like a death cross is imminent, I'm probably going to be selling off everything while we're back over here, right? Death cross is imminent right here. Oh yeah, I should probably start selling some stuff off. Even though Bitcoin's going up, I can still see where there could be a drop coming. Oh my God, over here, death cross is imminent. I should probably start selling off some assets here. Again, it doesn't have to be just selling. You could always raise the stop loss if you wanted to, but those are big warning signs that really concern me. Even back over here, I didn't even make a crazy amount of profit back over here from Bitcoin because I thought we were going to have that death cross there. Right, and so I was like, I'm holding some stuff, but the majority of it, it's not really looking great. Because at that point, all the altcoins are looking so bearish, and I was like, do I want to buy this? And like they came up for like a month, and they kept on crashing and back down after that, or a few months, and then after that came down. This one was a little bit different because my mindset, as I told you guys, which just maybe seemed a little kooky at the time, it was like, hey, if you're a bull and you don't want Bitcoin to crash, you're going to need to see Bitcoin do a mega pump to stop that death cross from coming, right? And so I'm hoping that as we kind of consolidate for the next few weeks or however long this takes, we see Bitcoin have another big move, and that keeps the 20-week moving average moving up even faster, like we did back over here, right? Kept moving faster and faster and faster and faster, all right? The moment we start to have those death crosses between 20 and the 50, oh God, I'm going to be like, guys, I know it looks good, but like, I'm selling off like 80% of all my assets. All my stop losses are moved up quite high, and I'm just going to wait and see what happens, right? You don't even have to move up the stop losses that crazy, but like move it up so maybe if the coin drops like 30% from the highs it's experiencing, then you sell it and you walk away with a bunch of money and you're happy with it. Because you can always re-enter the market and do some day trading and swing trading on your favorite tokens and whatever, even if the market keeps on going high. But I just don't want to have to deal with it. You know what I mean? I want to lock in that profit and just, roll around in a bed full of money. Be Mr. Scrooge. But not regular Scrooge, like the Duck Scrooge from the Disney movies. You never go broke taking profits. That's the way I feel about it too, Larry. I know we have a similar thought process when it comes to investing and stuff like that. But yeah, I've just been very much of the mindset of like, if I'm making money, who cares, right? I mean, I could go out and spend my money on stuff I don't need if I really wanted to, if I held on a little bit longer, but I'm just like, I make good money. I'm happy with it. My money goes up year over year, which is always pretty nice. I was thinking of buying a Hermes tie just for the sake of it, because I need a new tie. But I was like, you know what? I don't know. There's probably a Hermes close to me, actually. No, it'd be all the way up in Bellevue, which is like a 45-minute drive. I might just go to Macy's and get a tie, because when I go to the Nutcracker, I'm going to be wearing my black bespoke shirt. I'll be wearing black slacks, and I'll be wearing some dress shoes and stuff like that, but I think I need a tie to pull it all together. I was thinking of wearing a black hat, but I'm like, damn, that's a little bit too crazy for me. I'm not a hat guy. I barely even wear hoodies, as you can tell. And hey, I'm happy to see my man. Hey, discount. Right now, okay, so if you're going off of technicals, it feels like we're trying to make our way back down here towards 90,900, that support level we talked about before. However, before that, we have one last support level, and that happens to be this order block kind of around 93,700-ish levels. The issue with this right now is, even though we're looking at a small death cross, which again doesn't mean too much because we just had a death cross back over here, the issue is that tomorrow we have CPI data coming out, and the forecast is 2.7%. If it's 2.7, that should be okay, but it is still going to be higher than 2.6. Preferably, we want to see something like 2.6 or 2.5 coming out tomorrow for inflation, because there's this thought process or this theory that's been taking hold over the past few weeks, where the Fed is thinking about pausing rate cuts. If the Fed pauses rate cuts, it's just going to be a disaster for everybody involved, and that's kind of what we've been talking about today. Because if the CPI number is bad, I would not be surprised if Bitcoin fell by like $4,000 tomorrow. But if the CPI is good, I wouldn't be surprised if Bitcoin is like maybe spikes back up to $98,000 at the minimum, and at the best maybe spikes back up to like $100,000. It'd be a big spike, but again, it'd be short-term spike. But again, it'd really change the momentum, and that's basically what we're looking for right now. But CPI is gonna be big, and I think next Wednesday. Yeah, it's the 18th. So the 18th is next Wednesday. Yeah, so next Wednesday, when I said next Wednesday, we also have the FOMC report, or the meeting, if you will. And with that meeting, of course, he's going to cut by 25 basis points. However, he's going to go out there and give himself a little bit of a speech. And he may say, we now think it's appropriate to pause rate cuts. We now are open to considering pausing rate cuts. You know how he does his language mood. And that could really shake things up and really spook the markets. So we have 2 weeks of just very important news coming out. And this bit of news we get tomorrow affects the news that happens next week. And again, I am pretty concerned, not so much about the CPI report. I wasn't too concerned about that going in, hence we haven't really talked about it too much. But now that I know that they're thinking, again, some of the members on the Fed board, not all of them, some of them are talking about, hey, maybe we should be pausing. That concerns me a lot. Excuse me, that concerns me a lot. And hey, Matthew, no cigar tonight. I'm taking like a week off of cigars. I'll probably smoke with you guys on Friday, but I'm trying to take it easy this week because I smoked way too much last week, way too much. What do I see Doge at by end of year? Just tuned in, didn't know if you missed talking about it. For me, I'm not good at calculating Doge, to be honest. End of year, I'd be happy to see it somewhere around 49 cents to 50 cents. And that's if Bitcoin stays bullish. I think that'd be fairly good. Taxes are a bitch. Yes, they are. Maximizing tax loss and deductions are so important. I got a lot of deductions, a shit ton of deductions, because I travel so much. I got my special credit cards for all this other stuff, right? And I appreciate that. It's because I'm self-taught with charts. Of course, I read books and I watch YouTube videos and stuff like that, but I don't like how many people read charts, so I like to read my charts a little bit differently. Heck, I think I even use different colors compared to everybody else with the moving averages. I don't even know. Some people don't even use moving averages with their charts, right? So, just depends on what you want to do. Everybody has their own little style. When is CPI? Tomorrow. They should cut rates, Hustle, but only by 25 basis points, which is fine. Afterwards, you're probably going to see more talk about a cut going into next 2025. Oddly enough, this is right when Trump is coming into office, and Trump and Jerome Powell do not get along at all. At all. So I think Trump is looking for any excuse to fire Jerome Powell. So we're going to have to see if he's able to do something like that. Okay, Loki. Wherever he went. There he goes. Yeah, there you go. Yum, 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 yum. I might put a buy order at 90,500 as a YOLO. I'll decide before bed. Yeah, as a YOLO, I'm always in favor of YOLOs because YOLOs indicate like a small amount of capital that you're okay with losing, like a gamble almost. Yeah, I don't think it's horrible, especially if there's some type of crazy news tomorrow again with CPI data. Yeah, that would be terrible. You're thinking they're going to cut rates? Yeah, they should cut rates. They should cut rates next week. I'd be surprised if they did not. It's more of what happens next year. What do you think when Trump comes into January? Do you think it'll pump around then or dump as news? It'll probably pump up into the news and probably dump afterwards. You know, there'll be a little bit of hype around it, of course. The technicals, we'll have to check out the technicals at the beginning of next month. But so far, we still remain kind of bullish here. But yeah, Trump inauguration should be good news here. People will be listening to see if he says anything about Bitcoin. I mean, I think Trump could be the first president to say anything about Bitcoin during his inaugural address. So, I mean, again, there could be some cool stuff there. But historically, we typically have dumps around that time. You know, like when the news comes in, not the date wise, like what happens in January, but more of like after that big news happens, we usually come down quite a bit. Because this has been the most prolonged bull market we've seen in a while, where it's kind of just consolidation, huge spike up, consolidation, huge spike up, right? Instead of like small amounts of consolidation and more spikes. We're just not seeing that this time around. Buy land and start a homestead if you can still get land. There's not much land that I like out here, actually, in Washington State on the west side. I think I have to look for the east side of the state for some good land. And there's lots of affordable land out there, lots of it. And yeah, Trump is going to be great for the long-term prosperity of Bitcoin and a lot of the other tokens. It's just that it's going to take time. It's going to take like a quarter or two for those laws to get passed, that policy to be established, right? And then it's going to take even a few more months on top of that just to get everything working through the government system, getting the gunk out of the way that says, hey, we're good with this. Because remember, the last few years has just been roadblock after roadblock. Hey, we don't want this, we don't want this, we don't want this. There may still be some holdouts in like the deep state, whatever you want to call them, where they're saying, hey, I don't like Bitcoin, I don't like this, we should stop this from going through. And then it's going to have to go to the boss. Like the boss, like, no, we are not about that. We are pro-Bitcoin in this administration. The people want pro-Bitcoin. We're pro-Bitcoin. If you can't handle it, get the fuck out or do your job, right? You know, there's going to be a lot of that happening right here. Get land where you can. Oh yeah, Steve, I get you. My family has land. I'll inherit land. I'm going to buy land on the east side though. I'm not going to buy land on the west side of the state. There's too many like liberal cities over here that kind of, I want land where nobody tells me what I can do on my land. That's not, that I feel like I'm more comfortable in that scenario. And why I live on the west side of the state, because there's all the nice cities and, you know, it's more green because the mountains and stuff like that. I totally get it. But like when it comes to me having land, I'll own some houses over here with land, but over there on the east of the state, I'll have land where I can do whatever I want to. It could be a small cabin, it could be anything, but it'll be my piece of land where I'm not going to have a city or a county being too aggressive with encroaching upon my rights. I could do what the fuck I want over there. I don't know what I do. I probably just hunt, smoke cigars, and hang out with friends, you know, but I don't want to have that government peeking over when I want to build a cabin. Oh, this cabin door is too small. You know, if I don't want to deal with any of that stuff. I want to do it my way. What actually moves Coinbase stock up and down? I have an ETF with that called CONL, and it's way down. Well, usually Coinbase just moves around with the Bitcoin price. It's almost like a less volatile MicroStrategy. You know, Coinbase makes money as you guys trade, buy, sell, you know, buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell. And during those moments where the market's coming down, everybody gets afraid. So people just typically sell Coinbase. It's the same with a lot of different stocks in the crypto space, though. Stocks in the crypto space. Yeah, they usually go down when Bitcoin goes down. What can Elon do for Dogecoin being in the White House, in your opinion? I mean, he could tweet about it, that type of stuff. But in reality, he just needs to focus on his side, like the Tesla side of Dogecoin. And I think that'll do well. Of course, he could maybe always network the Dogecoin guys to people inside the White House. But I don't think the people in the White House necessarily care that much about Dogecoin. I feel like that's Elon Musk's pet project. So he can try to, you know, say, hey, Trump, Can you talk about this? People want to hear you talk about Dogecoin. So he may do one a random tweet or something like that, which I think is already going to be like a huge huge if right there. But yeah, I'm much more skeptical that he can do much when it comes to Trump. Maybe talking to the crypto czar and stuff like that. Maybe he could make it easier for payment, like blockchain payment systems in the United States, and possibly that can help out Dogecoin. It might not be a specific thing that helps only Dogecoin, but it could be a thing that helps out a lot of tokens like Dogecoin, if that makes sense. Yeah, Stevie, I like my space. And you hope it goes back up? I would say give it some time. You might have some luck tomorrow. And just like, you know, just like we were talking about the last few days, Bitcoin is the most volatile during the New York stock trading day, right? So if Bitcoin does shoot up because of a good CPI report, you could possibly see a lot of good stuff happening here. Now, I won't be live during the CPI. I won't be live during the CPI report, but I will be live probably in the earlier morning hours after it, so we can talk about the damage or the help that it gave Bitcoin, and then we can kind of go from there, right? Microsoft might reject Bitcoin holding. Say another big partner will be on the way. Yeah, I think Microsoft already said no to holding Bitcoin to Michael Saylor today, but that's okay. I think Michael Saylor needs to stop playing around with corporations, and maybe he just needs to focus more on countries, you know, governments. I think those are the people that should be buying up Bitcoin. I think it's much better if they do that, Mar. Okay. But okay, buddy, I gotta call it a night. I have to go pick up some dry cleaning that I have been forgetting about for a while now. Like literally, it's like 2 weeks late that I've been picking this stuff up, so I need to go get it. I'll see you guys a little bit later. Relax, the market's still volatile. We are still short-term bearish, but long-term bullish. I'm waiting to see what comes around tomorrow, but a big part of what we're gonna see for the next week or two is gonna be all rotating around CPI data, right? And then what we're seeing from the Fed as far as we know they're gonna cut, but are they going to pause or give some type of indication of a pause during the Fed minutes speech that he gives before he does his press conference? Okay, that's going to be